What is up, YouTube? I am Cosmic Fro. Today I am back with another Mortal Kombat 1 video for you guys today on the channel, talking about just the state of Mortal Kombat 1, my personal feelings about the game, positive and negative, just going through everything from Season 3 to now Season 5, and just the overall from game balance to how the characters feel to the different game modes, how the online feels, everything. We're just going to talk about the state of the game. Now, if you don't know me, I'm a pretty good Mortal Kombat player. I've been playing Mortal Kombat for a long time, really starting from MK1, but I played before that, UMK3, and it is my fighting game of choice. And I play other fighting games, right? I play Strive, I play Street Fighter, and I enjoy those games. Yeah, this game, it was in a rough patch, right? We had a rough patch where the game was sort of feeling stale, right? We had the Striker Lao meta for a while, and you had those meta characters that would just steamroll the characters sitting, maybe just a tier below. It was obvious that some characters just outclassed some of the other characters. Now I would say this season, there's still that discrepancy. If we go to customize and we look at all of the different characters, we'll just talk about each of them. Let me actually move my camera up here. So, Reptile just got a really, really big buff. Let's actually switch his outfit here. So we have the classic green with the cat ears that everybody loves, right? Yeah, Reptile got really, really good buffs this season. He now has that airborne cancel, which is really, really sick. And I like that they're adding new moves. That's one thing I really enjoy about how the game has progressed, that they're actively adding new moves to the game to sort of freshen up the experience. They did it for Reptile, they did it for Rain, and they did it for Scorpion. As much as Scorpion players like to complain about how the move didn't really do much for the character, they still are adding new things, and I really do enjoy that aspect of the progress of the game. Now, balance-wise, I think the game is in the best state it's been in. We still have, the problem characters like Ashra. I think Tanya's really, really good. Raiden obviously got the hammer, right? So Raiden was a problem, okay? This patch wasn't a nerf. All the Raiden players complaining that they over-nerfed the character. No, this was a fix, right? They have to start from somewhere. And this was a fix to a character that was, frankly, broken. Okay. Yes, there was counterplay. You could flawless block and try to win your turn to maybe make the right reads over and over to not let the Raiden get his turn. But once Raiden had his turn, GG. So I'm glad Raiden got the hammer. I personally am glad about that. Okay. We can start from here and then make a healthy way to make him cool instead of having this glue-eating, game plan that Raiden used to have. These were game plans where the skill ceiling was so low, it was just like you were eating glue. Like, there was no respect for Raiden players in the community. And I think now that Raiden did get the hammer in the healthy way, and they're starting to do things with his other moves, I think we can start from here and then give Raiden the appropriate sort of game plan that, maybe the devs intended or are intending to give him. But yes, Raiden was very dumb. I don't think this was a over nerf. This was a fix, right, for a broken character that completely tilted the meta in his favor. So I'm glad this happened to Raiden. As much as I do hate nerfs, this one was necessary. This had to happen for the health of the game. Obviously, you want characters to have damage, and Ashra is just one of those characters known to have damage. So if the devs want to keep this, I'm totally fine with that. But, we got Quan Chi, we got Peacemaker. I didn't really talk about these guys in the meta. So here's a statement. I think Mortal Kombat 1 is finally fixing its archetype problem. We had this sort of rush down meta where you would use cameo coverage and just sort of try to enforce your pressure in the best way possible. But now that we're starting to see the balance shifting within the cameos and the base roster, and we're starting to get new characters and new moves added for, say, in the case of Quan Chi, we're really starting to see archetypes fleshed out. In the case of zoning, right, Quan Chi was released, he was underpowered and underkitted, right? His frame data wasn't there, and he just didn't have the moves available to deal with that sort of rush down meta that was before. Now Quan Chi's very strong, and he does want to play that zoning game. He does have a full screen sort of launcher with his down back 1 meter burn that you can combo with stand 4. It's really, really good. You're able to summon portals, different kinds of portals. You have the armored portal to deal with being in the corner. And really, Quan Chi is just a great spacing character. The same thing can be said for Peacemaker, who has a full screen sort of zoning launcher. He has projectile immunity to other projectile characters, so he's able to enforce his projectile game with Eagly and the pistol better than most, right? And using zoning cameos to help him in his game plan. Katana, been very strong for a long time. Nothing's changed. She's still very high on the tier list. And she also has a full screen launcher. So I think zoners that have these full screen launchers, these tools that are able to keep them away, and they use the cameo combination to help them do so, they can really make themselves heard in this game. And it's starting to show. We're starting to see the meta shift. In addition to these zoning characters, obviously we have the newly introduced Ermac, who is a cancel character, cancel rushdown character. So we have cancel characters in the case of Ermac, in the case of Rain, in the case of Smoke, and now Reptile, right? These characters are all able to enforce mind games with cancels, which I think is really, really cool. For the most part, rushdown, right? Ermac, rushdown character. Smoke, rushdown character. For Reptile, it's slightly different. Reptile goes invisible and then can mix you. So he's a mix-up cancel character in a way, which I think is really, really cool. He plays that shimmy game really nicely now, and he has a full screen projectile now. Helps him a little bit. And then we have Rain, who, you know, is a cancel character. So we're really going to have to see how the meta shapes up with these cancel changes to Reptile and Rain, Ermac being a new character, right? We're going to have to see how the meta shapes up. We still have the all-rounders, you know, Raiden, Liu Kang. Johnny, obviously, very good rushdown character as well. Kung Lao, an all-rounder, I would say. Rushdown in a way. Li Mei, big damage for her hits. Has a pretty good projectile game, and it's just very scary to fight. She has that 6-frame reversal, right? You know, some of the pro players play this character to a higher degree. It really is showing that she is a very strong character. She just needs little things that are going to help her a little bit more. Say in the case of just some of her combos dropping when they shouldn't, things like that. I'm not going to make a tier list yet, but I think in terms of how the game is played currently, in terms of the cameo balance and the base roster balance, I think this game is in a great spot, and it can only get better from here. I will have suggestion videos for characters I think are underpowered, or, you know, maybe a little bit too overtuned in some areas. But yes, I think the roster is doing great. So talking about Invasions, I think Invasions is pretty fun, right? If you're playing as a casual, right? I'm on the 3rd Mesa right now. If you're playing as a casual and you want to come into Invasions and just play, you know, a few games before work, get through a few fights here, then you can do so, right? And I think Invasions, it's improved a lot over the past few seasons. They have a incentive now where if you do complete Invasions, you get an exclusive stage. You also get exclusive skins within Invasions, so that might come later. But, you know, hey, you know, you get them early and you can play this fun game that has really cool, you know, sort of interactions. There's a few funny things you can encounter here, and you get to see all of the different maps for what they are behind the map, right? So I think it's really cool. They're really starting to get it with Invasions. I enjoyed it before, but it wasn't what I sunk the most time into. I played it this season, and, you know, for a day I was just chilling. It was really enjoyable, and I had a great time on it. Now let's talk about online. I think the rollback netcode that was in Season 4, post-Janet, right, once Janet released, it was really bad, and Mortal Kombat was in the worst state it's been in, and that really sucked. It really was just the worst state the game had been in, and it made me just not want to play the game. But this patch, they fixed it. You know, they had to delay the pro competition for it, and they stayed to their word. They fixed it, and the online is smooth as butter. Feels great. Also, between Season 3 and now, we had the introduction of crossplay. So it started with private matches where you could play with one friend, and that was it. You couldn't do crossplay King of the Hill, but with Season 5, they finally introduced crossplay King of the Hill. So now you can play with all of your friends, and I've been playing with all my friends across all the platforms, inviting them to King of the Hills, and it just feels like everybody's sort of come together again. And that's just a great feeling. It really has just changed my perspective a little bit on the feeling of Mortal Kombat, and it feels great to just be able to play with everybody. Again, going back to the roster, there's a lot more variety that we're seeing online now that the meta is sort of shifting. Ermac's being played a lot, and I love to see it because Ermac is a very, very fun character, very difficult character, but very fun character nonetheless, and it feels very rewarding to play and land combos as Ermac. So congrats NetherRealm on that. Doing great. A few things that bother me. This warrior shrine. None of us know what it is. No, we don't know what this is. Is this rooms? I would hope so. Is it something better than rooms? You know, we need to see what this is because it's been here since launch. You might as well just take it out because this is just, it's been coming soon since the beginning of the game, and we're 6-7 months in now. So it doesn't make sense as to why this was even featured on the menu. The same could be said for private, you know, online practice. These are features that are just missing and have been missing since day one. It just sucks. it just sucks. I want to be able to lab with the people that care, people that want to get better. And right now we just can't do that. So it would be awesome if we could get an ETA, a status on these game modes, but they're really just taking their time and I guess are trying to give it to us in the best state possible. It just sucks. It really does. I like the idea that other fighting games are, they allow you to do online practice while looking for games. I do think that should be a thing. We've waited this long for this feature. I think it would be a great feature to be able to do, sort of start an online practice and then start queuing for games while you're in practice. And then in between games, be able to go back to that practice. That should just be a thing, right? It's a great feature that other games have been implementing since 2019. So I would love to see that. Just sort of gathering all the thoughts here at the menu. This isn't the end of the video. No, I think the game feels great to play. It's very fun. Invasions is a fun game mode and it's a fun game, right? It is a fun game to play. Now, when you're playing it at a high level, right, there is sort of this poke meta where you want to try to find the best way to steal your turn. But even on block, right, there's not a lot of risk to poking, and so you're seeing this poke meta being enforced, and you're seeing 1,000 pokes a game. Yeah, it just isn't. It isn't. That part of the game, I think, should maybe be looked at, right, in terms of how the base game is played. But aside from that, right, I think the combos when you do land the hit, very fun. The setup situations, the mix situations you're able to put people in is very cool. Now, defensive options, I think on top of the poke game that is sort of going on at the moment, I think there needs to be maybe a different, mechanical defensive option added to the game. We did see that Movado move in the trailer with the flawless block, potentially up 3, right? I think that would be very cool to introduce to maybe some cameos like, say, Sub-Zero with Cold Shoulder, right? Or Kano's Laser, right? Being sort of these flawless block attacks that come out instead of being these useless moves that aren't used very much. I think it would be cool to have different applications for defensive tools given the right resources. So say maybe a bar and half your cameo gauge if it's available, something like that. So I think that would be something nice to introduce as far as defensive options go in Mortal Kombat 1. This is a conversation for a different video. This is just sort of my overall thoughts on the current state of Mortal Kombat 1. If you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I think the game's in a really good spot, right? And if you're playing other games, you're playing Tekken 8, you're playing Street Fighter 6. I think if you haven't played Mortal Kombat 1, come try it out. It's in the best state it's been in, and I think it's only up from here for Mortal Kombat. Very, very fun game. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.